Today is Monday, November 24th, 2014. Happy Thanksgiving week. Whether you are following this journey in real time or you've come to it sometime thereafter that date, I still wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Line editing. This is week 11 of our 12-week journey, and line editing is simply another level of polishing. We've started with the wide mouth of the funnel, and there's lots of air in there to play and sandbox and roll around and explore. And it's great that we have created an administrative container whereby our chapters are chunked out individually, so when you get feedback from readers as well as from the work, because you are in communion, you are in relationship with the work, and the work is telling you what it needs to be. Perhaps chapter 2 now is chapter 12, and chapter 14 is chapter 25, and half of chapter 15 goes into chapter 18, and then it's a lot easier to make those transitions over a period of weeks because you are working in separate documents. You're not trying to locate all this content in a 300-page manuscript. So I hope at week 11, if you haven't already appreciated the benefit of having established an administrative process for the management of the actual document, I hope now, 11 weeks down the road, it's a little more obvious. So we're starting from this large container, and as we get more particulate, and we're moving from hunk and plunk and chunk and going line by line and listening for constructions that are lyrical versus clunky, and using synonym finder to amp up the poetry of our writing. And so now we've moved from the bowl of the funnel, and we're into the neck, and we're at the very bottom of the neck, and we're basically polishing at this point, assuming that you're on board to complete your first novel in a 12-week period. We have one more week left, so you're at the week where you're looking to really put the final shine on that. So I previewed last week, when we talked about spit and polish, one option for line editing. And line editing is exactly what it sounds like. You're not asking for developmental feedback on the trajectory, the arc of the story. You're going line by line. Grammar, punctuation, spelling, consistency. That's what a line edit is all about. It's technical at this juncture. So you could, option one, ask a friend or family member who is a doyen of detail, a person for whom it comes naturally to assess the technical quality of writing, to do a line edit for you, and you're really nice to them. You buy them dinner, you give them a massage, a nice big hug, you thank them, you show your appreciation. The second option is to pay a professional editor. I've done that several times in my book writing career, and in today's market, you're going to pay anywhere from, I'm going to call it $800 to $1,400, and that's a pretty big swing, but it really depends on the editor. I say if they ask for less than $500, probably they're probably, I'd be concerned about why they were lowballing. Let's put it that way. I remember getting 3 estimates on the roof of my house, and one was really, there were 2 that were, only a couple $1,000s within one another, and then there was one that was, it was like $5,000 or $7,000 less than the other ones, that gave me pause. And after I did some diligence, due diligence, I realized why the person was lowballing. So if they're below $500, I would call it a lowball, and I would have a question mark about that. If it's if it's on the higher end, $1,200, $1,400, you're looking. Make sure they present some serious credentials. All right, what are we looking for? First of all, I think it's important to look at three different folks and get some references. You want them to present a portfolio. What kinds of books have they edited? If it's only nonfiction, is it nonfiction? Is it a novel? Is this a working editor, or is this somebody that just kind of does this like once in a blue moon? Because like any other skill, if you don't use it on a regular basis, it gets dull. So you got to keep the skills sharp. So we're all smart, men and women. I mean, if you were looking for a lawyer or accountant or realtor, somebody to put the roof on your house, somebody to, manage your uh, whatever, to do your bookkeeping, you're looking for the street cred. Definitely talk to references. I think it's really important to pick up the phone. First of all, can they supply references like that? And you need to call the references, and it's not just what you hear, it's what you don't hear, what's happening between the lines. And are their skills current? The last time they edited a book was 10 years ago, or are they working with 5 or 6 different books now? So, and then the other part is just gonna be the fit. But anywhere, I'm gonna say if you're paying like between $800 to $1,000, I think that's reasonable for a manuscript. Way above that, you're kind of out of the bell curve, I think. Way below that, I think you're also out of the bell curve. The third option is to do it yourself. One I don't recommend, even if you are a doyen of detail yourself. You are so close to this book. It's hard. It's harder to be objective, I think. I had a friend who is a doyen of detail, and she only reads novels. So when she line edited my third book, which was a nonfiction book, all of my books have been nonfiction until now, it was perfect because not only did she not care for nonfiction, she didn't even care for the topic of the book. So that was great because she didn't get distracted by the big idea. She only cared about the particulate of each line. And so it was a perfect partnership. I also did my own read, and I also hired a professional editor. So I did all three. I would recommend, if this is your first outing ever as a book author, I recommend you have a separate pair of eyes, even if you don't pay for those eyes, even if it's a doyen of detail, personal friend of yours. If this is not your first outing as a book author, but as a novelist, I still recommend it because that's new to you. You're out of your comfort zone. Congratulations for stepping out of your comfort zone. That also means that because it's new, you just have a larger learning curve. So you want to close that gap some and have another pair of eyes. So those are your choices: friends, professional editors, do it yourself. If you don't think you know any professional editors, I bet you do. Just work your network, work your 6 degrees of separation, even before the days of social media. Just ask people, tap into the different communities to which you belong, whether they're professional networks, your library, your church group, the PTA meeting, parents groups, somebody at the gym, right? But with 21st century technology, just do a shout out: Facebook, Twitter, uh, whatever else is out there. I don't remember now. Oh, LinkedIn. I got nothing else to say. It's hard to believe. I know. Next week is our last week in this journey, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have my novel finished. I hope you are.